Hello and welcome to the Music Survival Guide, the independent musician's guide on how to survive in the music industry. My name's Phil, a mixing and mastering engineer. I hope you're doing well out there. I am on the very, very tail end of my cold. It feels like it's gone on forever because it really has. It's been about 3 weeks. Sub story for me. And it's nearly gone. But, you can maybe tell in my voice it's still lingering like a bad cold, really. Don't know why I said that. So this week I wanted to talk about something that's close to my heart. And when I say that, I mean it really annoys me. And it's a real bugbear of mine. And that is Spotify Wrapped. Spotify Wrapped is going to come out roughly end of November, beginning of December. Came out very last day of November last year. So it's going to do probably about the same this year. And if you don't know what it is, I'm a bit amazed. But if you don't know what it is, it's where Spotify will tell listeners, but maybe more importantly here, bands, how many people have listened to their music, their singles, their overall numbers, whatever it may be, and gives you the option to share that. Gives you the option to share that on your social media. And don't get me wrong, if you want to post that, that's great, but it's potentially damaging to you. Let me put it that way, because it's so easy. It's just so easy to see some numbers and then start comparing to other bands and evaluating your self-worth based on that comparison. It's so easy to do that. And I'm just here to say comparison is the thief of joy. If you start comparing yourself with other bands, other people in the scene, whatever it may be, then it'll just stop being fun. You'll start to get stressed about it. And, I've got to say, I'm really terrible with social media in that it's so easy for me to sit there and start scrolling or whatever. And then before I know it, I'm comparing myself, perhaps kind of unconsciously, I'm comparing myself to people that I'm seeing around and going, oh, am I successful? Am I not successful? How's it going? Where do I stack up in this lineup of things? And, I've had to really learn over the last year and a half to ignore that, because it is the thief of joy. If I start doing that, I start getting stressed, I start getting upset, and I start thinking I'm an absolute failure. And that's no use to anyone. Most of all, is no use to yourself. So don't fall for it. If you want to post it, feel free. But if you're going to do that, just be aware of the potential pitfalls of it. Frankly, you are worth more than some stats. That's what it comes down to. Like, you are worth more than however many thousands or hundreds of people listen to your music, or if you're very lucky, millions. But you're probably not listening to the podcast if you're millions. I don't know. You might be. Hello if you are. Get in touch if you are. Love to have a chat. And it can be so easy to just kind of see those numbers and just kind of go, maybe we're not very good. Maybe no one likes us. Maybe it's not worth it. Blah blah blah. And before you know it, numbers have told you whether you're any good or not. And that's no good. That's not helpful. That's not beneficial to you. So I think there's a couple of ways, a couple of strategies I would take to dealing with Spotify Wrapped. I'm going to use the phrase dealing with because it's not necessarily the best thing. Are your numbers better than they were this time last year? Yes or no? If they are, great, cool. In the the best way to compare is to compare to yourself. Have you made progress? Are more people listening to your music? Great. Wonderful. You're doing something good. Keep doing it, basically. If the answer to that is no, is there a reason? Have you put out less music this year? Have you toured less this year? Have maybe a band member, had a baby, or someone's had to leave the band and you've had to kind of reset? Has that happened this year? That would obviously be a kind of downer on your kind of musical progress, I guess. There's probably a good reason. There really is probably a good reason. And I think the best and healthiest thing to do when you find yourself in a situation like that is to go, right, okay, let's make some goals for 2024, some smart goals where we can track the progress, where we can work out how well we're doing, and we can use that to map like our progress for 2024 and go, right, okay, here we go. We want to get, say in this case, more streams. We want to get X number of streams. let's do this. Here's how we're going to get there. Here's some tangible, practical steps to getting there. That is a really, really healthy response to seeing some numbers. And it's a really good way to do it. The other thing, and this is more kind of around a being kind of worth more than your stats kind of thing. Have you, in a sort of musical sense, enjoyed your year? Have you enjoyed your 2023? If the answer to that is yes, then you're fine. You're doing great. You're honestly doing great. I think that is worth more than achieving some goals, to be honest with you. Because you can have some goals and they can be really great goals and you maybe want to make it professional. Great. And you have some goals. Let's say you get all your goals happen and you manage to go professional and you quote unquote make it. And you may get to that point and go, great, I'm here. What now? I'm not actually sure I'm enjoying it. And that's the thing, because you're so focused on the goal, you're not necessarily focused on the kind of enjoyment, like the day-to-day. Have we had some great gigs? Have I really enjoyed it? Have I enjoyed the recording we've done? Have I enjoyed the rehearsals we've done? Things like that. Have I just enjoyed hanging out with a load of mates with whom I am in a band? That kind of thing. That is worth way, way more than achieving some goals. Do not belittle the kind of enjoyment side of things, because that is what will spur you on for the long term. And that is just a healthy way to live, because if you make it, great, you're doing something you're really enjoying. That's wonderful. If you don't quote unquote make it and you still have to have a day job, then okay, that's maybe not what you want, but you're enjoying what you're doing. And that's really, really important, because you could find, if you're not enjoying it and you're aiming for the goals, that 5 years go down the line and you go, I'm not sure I've really enjoyed that. And that was 5 years of my life. What's the point of that? So I guess that's what I want to say. Spotify Wrapped is numbers. And numbers can be helpful. Numbers can be really great for setting goals and tracking progress, but they are not the be all and end all. Do not judge yourself by Spotify Wrapped. Please do not judge yourself by Spotify Wrapped. Enjoy it, sure. Maybe you want to use it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to make a point of not posting it because it's not helpful to you. Whatever you choose to do, enjoy what you are doing. I think that's everything I want to say about Spotify Wrapped. I could try and go on and on about it, but ultimately that is my point. It's a bit of a funny thing. I'm not sure how I feel about Spotify Wrapped. I seem to see more people posting on about it every year, and it's maybe just quite damaging. So, make of that what you will. Enjoy. So that was it for another episode of the Music Survival Guide. If you liked it, then please rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. It all helps the algorithm to point people in this direction. Please also share it with any friends and bandmates if you thought it was helpful. If you're having a conversation about Spotify Wrapped and maybe someone in the band's getting down about numbers, this could be a great way to start having that kind of healthy conversation, I guess. If you're thinking about recording or mixing and you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out to me via the links in the podcast description below, and we can have a conversation about what it means for you, how I might be able to help you, that kind of thing. And I will see you next time.